All right, here's something really cool that I learned only yesterday. I've been a developer for 17 years, and I did not know this existed. So the scenario is this. Imagine you've got an HTML page, and in that page, you've got loads of inline script, maybe some inline style, and this is what your live website looks like. Now, debugging this in live can be quite tricky because there are no files, line numbers aren't necessarily the most accurate. And to sort of demonstrate what I mean, let's just take a look at this. We've got an anonymous script firing here, and it's attributed to index line 48, character 9, which is correct. Of course, that is correct. That is where it is. When I click through to that, I just see, well, do you know what? That's actually quite easy to reason about, isn't it? Because it's just a performance mark. So if we try the one preceding it, let's try this one. What we're going to see is, right, I've just got this minified script, and I can't really tell much what's going on here because one, it is minified, and two, it hasn't been pretty printed for me. The ergonomics just aren't great. Even worse, in my opinion, is if I was to inspect, let's say, paragraphs. So let's look at paragraph styles. Again, because I inline my CSS, it just gets attributed to index line 55. Now, all of these get attributed to line 55, which is true because it's minified, but again, not very useful ergonomics. And if I do click through to this, it will take me to the text wrap pretty, but it's just, again, not the most convenient or comfortable way of working. So the thing I learned, and this is a non-standard web platform feature, and it only seems to work in Chrome, is in your HTML, in your templates, add this source URL to the bottom of any script or style block. So for JavaScript, the format is // hash source URL equals, and then everything after the equals is up to you to define. What I've done is I've settled on a pattern of using inline colon to alert kind of myself and whoever's looking at the code that there isn't actually an external speedcurve.js file. This syntax is really, really similar to source maps. So if you've ever worked with source maps, you've seen something almost identical. The thing is with source maps, there is a real external separate file. With this pattern I'm showing you now, speedcurve.js does not exist. So what I don't want to do is omit the inline bit, because that's going to look to anyone reading the site or reading through DevTools, it's going to look like there is a speedcurve.js file. So the syntax for JavaScript is // hash, and predictably for CSS, that wouldn't work because // is not a valid comment. So in CSS, it's going to be just a comment block starting with a hash, and then everything else remains the same. So I showed you the before, everything just got attributed to a single line in the HTML. Now, if I go and try debugging some stuff, what I should see is here, this inline script is attributed to debugbear.js. So if I click that, I no longer get taken to the HTML page. I actually get taken to a brand new ghost file. This file doesn't exist. I cannot stress that enough. But I can see it gets automatically pretty printed. I've got a slightly better idea of what's going on here. If we look at this file, that's request metrics, slightly larger file. But the neatest thing, certainly for anyone working with CSS, is now when I inspect that paragraph, I've got a separate file and I can click on that and everything gets pretty printed and I can see in far better context where things live. So I'll add a sort of snippet of that syntax to wherever I post this, whether it's for my members or whether it's on Twitter or LinkedIn, whatever. I'll make sure I copy and paste a snippet for you. But that's just really changed my workflow. I'm really, really happy with this. The last thing I would say is if you are SpeedCurve or you are Request Metrics or you're anybody at all that provides customers with snippets to paste into their HTML, try putting this in there as well, and it'll make their lives a lot easier while they're debugging it. Thank you very much.